Hi, church. It's Pastor Sara. Thanks for joining me this week for your midweek check-in. You know, we've been talking this month about investing in what matters. It's a good theme, I think. I have found it to be true that all of our resources of time and talent and treasure, they're limited. And they get pulled in every kind of direction. You can't give to everything. You can't be everywhere. You can't do everything. You have to choose what matters the most to you. You have to prioritize your investments. Now, I'll be honest with you and say that I'm not really very savvy about investments myself. We have some in our household. I think the Isbell family is single-handedly holding up Chipotle stock across the nation. But the whole thing about watching the stocks go up and watching the stocks go down and keeping your eye on the Dow, that's just not something that I'm very good at. But I do understand this about investing. You start by figuring out what resources you have available. And then you decide what projects or products you want to see grow. And then you invest in those projects or products accordingly. The more you put in, the more the company or organization has to work with. The more connected you feel to what they're doing, the more meaningful your return. Now, when I say the more meaningful your return, no financial advisor will promise you that whenever you put in more, you get out more. Nobody can guarantee that. The stock market is a finicky thing. The world is a finicky place. You may not always get exactly what you were hoping for. An investment, after all, is not the same thing as a purchase. You also have to put in a little faith. But when I talk about investing in the church, and of course I mean Wesley Church in particular, I do think it's fair to say that the more that you are able to give, the more we have to work with, the more connected you will feel to what we're producing, which in this case is disciples for Jesus Christ, and the more meaningful your return. If I invest my resources of time, talent, and treasure in the church, I may not reap a financial return. That's not what investing in the church is about. But I will be able to see the results of my and others' generosity in the life of this congregation, like in good worship with great music, like in young families bringing their little ones forward to be baptized, like happy children singing and playing and learning how much God loves them, like thoughtful youth who are asking tough questions and challenging worn-out assumptions, like grown-ups who are counting on Bible study and Sunday school to get them through the week, like volunteers of all ages who love their neighbors in really tangible and life-giving ways, like caring Christians, wrapping their arms around somebody who's hurting and letting them know that they're not alone. If I could invest in that kind of community, in that kind of world, shouldn't I do it? If you could invest in that kind of community, wouldn't you do it? Is it worth your consideration? So I want to invite you to pray this week about investing in Wesley. I want to suggest that you set a goal, knowing maybe you won't meet that goal this year, but with the help of God and this community, you're going to try to work toward a tithe of your income. Now, tithe is a biblical word. It just means that the first 10% of what comes into your account is set aside first for God. You get the remaining 90% for yourself. It's like how a financial advisor will tell you about your income. Pay yourself first. Well, we're going to say pay yourself second and give to God first. 10% may sound overly ambitious if you've never tried it before, but maybe if you've been giving about 2%, maybe try 3 this year. If you've been giving around 4, try 4.5. Consider the resources you have available. Consider what in your life and what in the church you want to grow, and set a goal. That's what we're asking this year, that you invest in what matters. Now, you may have received an investment mailing from us in the mail this week, and you may have noticed how it's laid out. One side tells you where the money comes from. The other side tells you where the money goes. And then the investment card gives you an opportunity to set a goal for your prayer life, for your time and your talent, as well as for your financial generosity. Now, if you didn't get a card in the mail, you can still access all this information, and you can make your investment goal online. But take some time this week, if you would, to think about it. What really matters to you? What do you want to see grow? What kind of world do you want to provide for your kids? And what kind of kids are we providing for this world? How do we invest in what matters most? And does Wesley matter more than Chipotle? I think it does. I hope you think so too. Thank you for your consideration, Wesley. We'll see you this Sunday for Stewardship and Investment Week. Take care.